Thank you. So just as she said, my name is Lisa. I work actually as a solution engineer at Oracle, which is a bit like the fox between all the rabbits in here, maybe. But well, I get into organizations when there is questions about techniques solving the cases that we've been, or the problems that we've been discussing today. I've been working on analytics for a very long time, but also on application-related analytics for a long time. The last 2 years, been very close to the HR process and the difficulties that stands in front of that organizations going forward. Today, I will share my thoughts from that journey that I see customers take, coming from just having that gut feeling and running your business with the gut feeling step into that boardroom with finance people, with sales people, and suddenly you need to answer up on that question. How many people do we have, and why aren't we devolving the way that we should, and what is the strategy, and so on. And suddenly you need to put that number on human behavior and organization behavior as well. So I will start with the basics, because I will push a lot of new technology here today. That's what I'm here for. I'm going also hope that I will inspire you in actually going into this area. So where did everything start? Well, Alan Turing, everyone knows him, I would say. He's kind of the father of the computer and machine learning as we see today. And why did he do it? That's the most important. It was the Enigma machine there, you see. So they realized that cracking that code took them too long time. It took them too long time to figure out and analyzing and thinking about it. And then they had changed the code and they had to restart it. And that is actually where we are a little bit today. Everything changes so fast. We don't have the time. We need the speed and we need to know it now. And that's why he kind of started this. Also today, it exists still, the Turing test. Can you figure out if you're talking to a human or a computer? And that is really the basics. When you talk about machine learning, algorithm, deep learning, or whatever you prefer to call it. But keeping in mind, why are we doing it? That's really important, I think. So what kind of benefits can you get from using this? Not only the speed, of course, because that is important. Then you have the human in it. We do think, we do feel, we do experience things, and we learn things. That influences the way we create that dashboard. What numbers do we put up there? What do we want to follow? What do we want to analyze, really? On the other hand, the typical correlation, the comic correlations, everyone that's been in analytics laugh about it all the time. But the fact that you can create reports that actually is nonsense, but you can draw conclusions to it that could be even false. But they correlate. So it is a good report, right? This is quite obvious, that one, but in the real world of analytics, I think there were some people talking about here earlier today, what is the trick when you let users get into analyzing themselves without knowing the data? Then you can have quite funny discussions afterward. In that area as well, machine learning can help, because suddenly we do not take advantage, because it is an advantage as well, but we don't put that kind of colored reflection to the analytics that we do. So that's something that machine learning as well is good at. So when I look at, and we are looking at use cases, when I look at the HR business as I did when I started really focusing in on this department or this function, you have so much things that you can do. I mean, there's so much benefits and so much processes that I can see that we can bring value if we put a little bit more analytics and especially machine learning into it. There's really no limits. I have spent now 1 year together with a customer, which is not really usually my role, but I got so curious on that journey. What is it that drives them? How can we really get into this? I mean, discussing this, because this is what will bring the value. This is what actually will bring the organization forward. So we kind of focused in on 3 processes after looking at so many analysts, like any big newspaper that kind of wrote anything about it. I've read so many CFO reports and figured out that those 3 are really core processes that HR is needing answers to today. I mean, I will touch on them a little bit. I mean, you have already, and all the day, I think, is about this. But we have retained, we have engaged, and we need to attract them. So we need to keep them. We need to know if they are leaving and why, and then, of course, get the best in here. So 1 year ago, back to this customer, we have they actually coming to us saying we have problems in our reporting. We need to create that dashboard because our chief HR office, she just wants a dashboard, and because she needs to answer up. But how on earth are we going to do it? Today, we are discussing this. This is what we are sitting with her discussing. And I think it's a very, very nice journey. I think they are very, very brave, actually, that has taken this journey on. And the reflections I have from this is that every organization starts with operational reporting. And that's what they did as well. And that is the state that they were in. Standing in front of that financial people or even CFO, it's not enough saying this is how it looks today. We have so many HR head counts, we have so many FTEs, they are located here and there. Yeah, but what does that mean? How did it look like 2 years ago with the last reorganization? How did that influence? Do we have problems in performance and why? Can we change that? And she couldn't answer that. So the focus we did after that was actually to go into a data mart. To have a quick win, we went into replication solution. We actually just replicated the whole transactional reporting layer that they had today into a new data source, which was just a mart, actually, warehouse. What they got from that was ability to change some of the data, not all, but some of the data, and the data that was most important. So like snapshotting, how does it look today, but this month, and then next month, and then suddenly they created trend reporting. And the coolest thing, I think, is I was working with an existing HR analyst departments. These were no IT people. That's where they were not data scientists, and they were definitely not warehouse people. But with the knowledge of the data, you do really have a competitive advantage of bringing in that, creating that mark. Yeah, you probably need some at least assistance to create the structure, but the knowledge of the data is what we struggle from the analytics side on all the time. And they did that. The transactional system as well, the transactional reporting, they knew well. When we had that, in this we did as a test, as a POC. When we had that, the chief HR officer, she was very, this is what I want. This is really, can you put it in production right now? Now suddenly you need the business case, because she couldn't get that money through. that's where the machine learning came in. So we can kind of joggle up a level right there. What kind of values can we bring forward to a CFO that actually can give that budget, that fund, to do the journey in full production? So suddenly those 3 use cases that I just showed you before, that was the key, or the kind of, it was actually the key that opened up for this organization, but also for this group, to invest in getting the journey. And suddenly, from sitting from an operational reporting only, they had actually taken on that journey to become real data driven, and with quite few steps, I would say, and quite low investments, because only thing we did was replicate a structure that was already existing, adding a snapshotting technology, which only saved monthly a snapshot of the organization, and they got started, and they got hungry. And just as we've been discussing again, when you see something, you just want more, right? Because you realize how powerful it can be. My chief of HR, she, I think, at least she is one of my truly coaches going forward. In the way she thinks and the way she drove this case, I got really inspired. I was sitting there after, I think it was 2 months ago, actually, and we presented this. We presented the 3 cases. Actually, I should give it to you as well. Oh no, it came afterwards. And I had the BI people saying, you cannot do this because you don't know machine learning, and this is really difficult stuff. She got really mad. I have not been in so many C-level meetings, but a few, and I've never seen someone becoming angry as she got there, because she got, of course, she did. I mean, the way that you look at an HR department still after doing this POC, she really didn't like, and she put her hand down and said, "Well, HR are not incompetent. We do know how to calculate. We do know numbers, and we are not stupid enough to just, take a machine learning algorithm for this. But it is a pointer. It helps us point. We know where to focus, and that is important. Then we will bring in the whole data science team, for sure. But why shouldn't I have the assistance of a pointer?" I think that's a very, very nice thing to have with you. It does not need to be the whole stack. It does not need to be the whole technology secured and so on. It can actually be a pointer, can be a possibility to focus right. I couldn't really get access to and show you the material that we built, but I wanted to give you a hunch of how we applied and how you can apply the things that we did, and see if I can also get the video to start, if I'm lucky. There. So machine learning or this type of assistance already exists in any system today, I'm sure. You have it in your HR systems probably already. You have it in any reporting solution as well. What we are doing here, we help to focus. That's what we do. We point. And just this possibility to have assistant, it is like an assistant. We are running decisions trees. It's a correlation. We have anomalies with deviation techniques to give you a hunch of what do attrition mean. In my business, what does attrition mean? The first one, now it was a bit quick, see if I can pause it a little bit. The first one is just a normal distribution. Where is the values? How many people have actually left? Where were they? What kind of competence did they have? And so on. The second here that we are looking at here is key drivers. I mean, what has driven attrition? And now this is really about, the knowledge that you have. You're just taking a reflection of what has already happened, but you can do you can see trends, and that is really what this is about. Trends, what is going on. Focus your energy on the right area. Focus where there is something to invest in. So key drivers. What is causing in my business an attrition when I look at historical data? And this is not, this is depending on, of course, how much data you have, but it can be a lot. And the idea here is that you're not scoping in on what you think might be a driver, what you have historically looked as a driver. You look at everything that you have, because that is the power again. If you take the help of machines, you can, of course, process a lot more information. Segmentations. So what is that? Well, it does look at correlation. How are they working together? Can we group them? Can we see that they are dependent on each other? That is also important to get a reflection of how relevant that driver actually is. And is it maybe a driver because it is in a combination with another? Let's see. So what they felt when we started with this is why she also had the power, I think, to stand up and say that. I want to focus, I want that pointer, because she saw the benefits of not, putting that limitations to the HR organization. Anomalies, also quite interesting. When something does not look as you think they should from a statistical perspective. And that's probably even the most important and most interesting thing to dig into. She told me that she had taken one of those reports and sent it to actually the BI department, where they actually do have everything from BI analysts into warehouse people, even data science. And she said, well, they got so interested because then they could take on, and that is really what is all about as well. Know your limitation, but get the pointer. Know your limitations, and then let the other team or the more technical team to verify what you have seen. You already have an idea. Now you got an idea. You can still have it as a pointer, but you get assistance from the full technology then to actually verify a pointer that you've seen, which is also a lot easier for them to start with. Another nice part that also this team really liked was the way that they could then work further with also help with a cluster. It's like grouping. You group people, you group information. Now you are actually looking at the report that you have created. It can be like this, or you have created a completely your own. You have set limitations. You do, but you can still get assistance to point out that group. How many groups is it? How many groups is relevant to have? Outliers is something sticking out. At least you get a pointer, and you can start from there. So that's where they are today. This is what they are doing today, based on amount of data that comes from a transactional reporting system, with a little bit of adjustments when it comes to historical data or snapshotting, which also made it possible for them to compare different organization structures. So when they had one department tree, they could actually start to compare, and by that also simulate organization changes. So that, and then that's what we stand, and hopefully we will continue to actually build the next step when they can, because this is what I hope, that they can even start to take that model back when the data science team has done a more deep investigation. They have at least verified and even created a more curated model. I can take it back in. I can continue train it if they are not, and then also apply it. And I can start to create that extra value, actually, which I think machine learning can give. Now I have to speed up. We helped out, and this is my role. So this is something I'm good at. So what we did, again, based on an insight team, it's actually a lot of people. They are looking at many different perspectives. So they interview people, they look at the financial statement, they look how the company is doing, or how many recruitments are you doing, how many people are you is leaving, and so on. And with the help of, I think it's both McKinsey and what they are, the CAP reports, they kind of figure out what kind of value does that bring. I mean, what kind of cost is related to have an attrition of 5%, and so on. We are, by this, creating that business case that she actually presented to the board last Wednesday. So now it's just, keeping my thumbs, but still, I think this department or this group has already done the journey needed to bring this forward anyway. They have the arguments and they have the will. But it, of course, helps that you can put numbers on it. And this is something that I think will even become even more important as business go forward, because HR do need to answer up in a better way when they want budget to do analytical things. Let's see, I do have a few minutes, so I will quickly give you one other, because this is a French company. Randstad is a recruiting company that also actually been working with a little bit. I think the most important to bring in here, but this is just one case. They did actually do this. They come from another angle. It was the BI department. It was the IT side actually. So that brought a full warehouse, HR, the People Central portal they call it. Suddenly they had the platform of doing things, and you're looking at just one use case that I was actually helping out a little bit with was CV scoring or a combination actually of ads, because they are looking at people, helping people recruit. So they are looking at the ad, they are looking at the CVs, they're trying to match, they take out, just as you have in your HR systems actually, the skills, the performance level and so on, but also that text, which is actually that we've already been talking a little bit about, which is very crucial in the HR process. The thing they actually brought with them, and because I can actually quote, they said, well, the most important that HR understands is that they need to understand the outer world. They cannot only focus on the internal, because if they don't know what everyone else does, then they will not be able to stand as a good alternative recruiting, because this is about attracting people then. And Anthem. This is the American health company. You can read about it in the Wall Street, because I will not have time to talk about it right now, I think. But what they are, sorry, from the wrong direction. So what they are doing, again, they have already done the whole trip about, curating data. They do have already the dashboards. They are looking at this next movement. And what they have done, they have started in the engagement. I mean, how do we keep people engaged? And one really nice thing I think they do is they do MOs. They do like a daily survey on their portal. Even they have on the app, they have a daily, it's like a survey, but they can only put modules. So if you're happy, if you're angry, if you're sad, and actually this one has become the health check, and this is actually on the top scorecard of the whole business. That little survey with modules, but it just gives an idea of the value and the benefits an HR department can bring to organizations today. And here I think I need to stop, because now my time is up.